Are we live? Welcome to another rendition of TV for this podcast. I believe we're at episode 48. How y'all living? I'm living swell. It's your host and moderator. I'm Adam22. Feel free to hit the subscription button, the notification bell. Make sure the notifications are select to all, by the way, and share this lovely live stream with your friends, family, as well as your followers. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Uh, the people that has been subscribed to me from day one, as well as the people who just found this channel, as well as this live stream. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you want to further support the channel, the growth and development of the channel, feel free to hit that join membership button. Remember, membership has its privileges, all right? As well as if you want to cash app your boy, it's $ I'm Chris Down One. I will have a link to my Cash App in the comment section once this episode is uploaded, and you can rewatch it whenever at your leisure. And whoever Cash Apps or Super Chats me will be the stream sponsor. Today's stream sponsor in consecutive weeks is no one. But this could be you down here at the bottom screen portion of this live stream, all right? So we got all that stuff out of the way. We didn't struggle stream at the beginning like we are normally accustomed to. I do apologize for last Saturday's stream. It went left real fast, real quick. But nevertheless, I'm the best. Let's get in and address the issues at hand. We're going to be talking about a lot of things. We're going to be talking about Lena the Plug and Adam22. They're back in the news again for all the wrong reasons. Keke Palmer and her boyfriend, what has been transpiring on social media. A new app premiered called Threads. What I think about Threads is Threads, the Twitter killer. We're going to get into all of that stuff. How y'all living? I'm living swell. So let's go ahead and address the first topic of discussion. And the first topic of discussion is Keke Palmer. Keke, are you with me? Are you riding? Keke Palmer, she's a beautiful woman. Very beautiful woman, highly intelligent, great actress. She has been in a lot of features, internationally known, particularly on social media. You know, pretty much stays in her lane. All right. There's not a lot of people out there that really necessarily stay in their lane. They try to be in every lane, and maybe every lane ain't meant to be for you. But Keke Palmer is one of those. I consider Keke Palmer a real one. Now, Keke Palmer been in the news recently. She got a beautiful the baby. She birthed a beautiful baby. She talks about motherhood, and she's going through a lot of changes. Okay, now from one man who has a wife, all right, and had kids. When women start popping them babies, a lot of those features on their body start popping as well. Particularly if you try to, work off the, post-pregnancy body. You start developing curves, and you start seeing things that you was normally accustomed of seeing. You start having curve, your thighs get a little thick, in the right way. Your waist is slim. Those breastises get evolved, okay, and you start having features on your body that you was not accustomed of having before you had the baby. And Keke Palmer has been flaunting on social media, and once again, I don't see that as a bad thing. I don't see no issues with that. Now, there have been several posts where her boyfriend, and his name escapes me. I do apologize, sir, if you're listening to this live stream. If there are any fans of this gentleman, I do apologize. Your name escapes me, but it'll eventually come up. I have seen several posts where he's been sort of encouraging Keke Palmer to flaunt her body, and Keke Palmer was at a recent Usher concert, okay, and Keke Palmer was, Usher saw Keke Palmer in the audience, started serenading her, singing to her, and there goes my baby, all that lovely dovely, really getting close up on her. I mean, not real sexual, but just teasing one another, flirting with one another. Personally, what I saw from the clip, I really didn't see nothing that, personally, if I was married to Keke Palmer, what man wouldn't want to be married to Keke Palmer, even though these two are not married, all right? But let's just say hypothetically they were married. That, recent event of Usher serenading to Keke Palmer, I really didn't see nothing, where I could get upset about, or where he's taking advantage of her or she's taking advantage of him. I just see an innocent, an innocent flirt type of activity. And if you're comfortable in your skin, and if you trust your significant other, as long as it doesn't go beyond, the boundaries, like, he's groping her and kissing on her and she's kissing on him and they, grinding on each other. If it doesn't get to a disrespect situation where he's disrespecting her or she's disrespecting him, it's just par for the course, all right? But if you have a healthy relationship and an understanding, and I say like this, in relationships is 50-50, all right? And that's how far the respect factor goes in a relationship. Ladies, and ladies and guys, if you're not comfortable of seeing your significant other being, serenade and singing, and or your significant other grabbing someone other than you, and they're hugging and stuff like that, if that's not, if you don't feel comfortable like that, I think that's something that should be acknowledged in the beginning of the courtship of you guys trying to build a relationship. I think that should be, you can communicate that to your significant other, and your significant other, if they value your respect and if they value your opinion, they're just gonna go with it, okay? Because, or your significant other, let's just say hypothetically, your significant other, hold on one second, wait a minute. Let me put some pimping in it, all right? Give me a second here, folks. Your boy here is trying to do some things right about now. All right, here we go. All right, yeah. So, let me get up out of here real quick and transfer to in the house. All right, so let's just say your significant other is, like I said, if you guys have a mutual respect for one another, then and if y'all have an understanding, and if y'all communicate this, all right, then how far, where the boundary, where the boundary is, and your significant other knows the boundary. Meaning, incidents like this would never take place. They would never happen unless they were forced upon. All right. Now, that's one side of the aspect. The other side of the aspect is particularly in relationships. There's an alpha and a beta in a relationship. I know a lot of people don't talk about this. Now, I heard Lovely T. Shout out to Lovely T. I have no issues with her. I think she's a bigger content creator than I am, that I can ever be. But there was a lot of things she said in her video. To me, it came from a perspective of a single woman. All right. And I will feel the same way if I subscribe to a male YouTube content creator and they're addressing this subject, and I will have that same type of aspect towards them. And personally, particularly a male that is not really in a relationship, I would look at him side eye like I looked at Lovely T. I'm like, yeah, that's a great concept, and your is valid. Hold on one second, yeah.
Miss, there's something else.
Hold on one second, guys.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Okay. Hold on. Let me put this on pause. That was weird. Okay. I'm trying to start up my laptop, and I still can't start up my laptop. I don't know what's going on here. Really don't know what's going on here, but we're about to find out, right? What is going on, man? Okay, so yeah, I can understand if you have that opinion. And I'm sorry about going in and out of the conversation. I do apologize for that, folks. But I respect Lovely T's opinion. I respect Lovely T's commentary, but she was coming from a perspective of a single woman. And I would have this same type of issue with a male that's a content creator talking about this subject, addressing this subject, and coming from the perspective of a male, a single male. Okay, so yeah, I would have issues with that as well. But nevertheless, that was her opinion. Now I'm gonna come forward. I'm gonna give y'all the perspective of someone who's in a committed relationship, someone who is married, and I know Keke Palmer and her significant other are not in. They're not married, but they are in a relationship. Okay, so set aside the fact that they are in a relationship. Let's just go that way. And it doesn't matter if you're married or you're in a relationship. Here's my 2 cents as a marriage counselor, a relationship counselor. There is in a relationship, there's an alpha, and then there's always a beta. It's always going to be that. There's going to be a king and a queen. All right. Let's not even use king or queen. There's going to be it's always going to be an overseer. And okay, let's just say there's an alpha and a beta from that perspective. I mean, there's always going to be a number one, and there's always going to be a number two. You're never going to have in a relationship two number ones. You're never going to have in a relationship where both male and female are equal, because they can say that they're equal in a relationship, but let's just be fair. Let's be real about it. There's nothing equal. There's nothing equal when you're talking about relationships. Because if you look at the status of both individuals, clearly there's you know, the majority of relationships, there's going to be always, it's always going to be one-sided, one way or the other. Either, uh, and it's not, the male and the female, or the male and the male, or the female or the female. All right. There's always going to be the one that's going to be the bigger breadwinner than the other one. There's always going to be someone in a relationship that's going to have the most education than the other one. There's always going to be someone in the relationship that's going to have a bigger status than the other one. All right. And you're going to have someone who's going to be a bigger name, a bigger star than the other one. Now, notice I haven't talked about egos, because I don't think egos really matter in a relationship. You can massage an ego. Okay. And I didn't talk about who's going to look better, who's more attractive in the relationship. I think those type of things are civil things that it's not going to ruin a relationship, but if you don't work at it, it can effectively ruin a relationship. You don't communicate about it, you don't talk about it, it's going to ruin a relationship. But in a relationship, it doesn't matter if it's a male or a female, or a female or a female, or a male or a male. Each side is going to be better than their significant other in different categories. All right. But the category that, that they depend on as far as living, as far as status, that's going to be officially the breadwinner. Now, we have seen this in history. Okay. And I'm just going to go to recent history, because I know there's a lot of people out there that's not old enough to know if I go further into history. But let's talk about recent history. Nicki Minaj and Mr. Petty. All right. They have a dynamic in the relationship that obviously, now publicly, Nicki Minaj say that's her man and she listens to her man, but privately, in a private setting, since she's the breadwinner, since she has the bigger brand and the bigger name, she's the alpha in the relationship. And he's cool with that. He knows his place. He knows when they go to these red carpet events, they want to talk about Nicki Minaj. They don't want to talk about Nicki Minaj's husband. They don't want to talk about their kids. They don't want to have any type of conversations or dealings with the husband, unless if you're talking about, his criminal past. But mostly in these red carpet events, that the press is going to they're gonna do a solid for Nicki Minaj and for her husband, and they're gonna take pictures together. All right. But the real pictures that's going to be in the articles and on social media, they want pictures of just simply Nicki Minaj. In the interviews, they may ask him how he's doing, like a customary human trait. But when the real questions start coming out, they're not going to ask Nicki Minaj's husband, Kenneth Perry. I think his name is Kenneth Petty. I think his name is Kenneth. And they're not going to ask him no questions. The real questions are for Nicki Minaj. The spotlight is for Nicki Minaj. When Nicki Minaj go into these offices of corporations, doing sponsorships and doing business deals and this, that, and the third, the people in the boardroom is going to be Nicki Minaj, her representative, her agent, and her lawyer. There's not going to be any reservations for Kenneth Perry, because they're not doing business with Kenneth Perry. They're doing business with Nicki Minaj. And he's cool with that. He understands that. He knows his role. Okay? And that's why strangely and oddly, when we found out that she was married to him, we all had our, you know, we all was saying that, oh, well, this is not going to last. Nicki Minaj is going to wake up. She's going to marry someone that we perceive that should be in her status, or we perceive that she should be marrying. Okay. She's going to wake up one day. She's going to marry Drake. Okay. We all have said that when we found out that she was in a relationship with this guy. And I think she has, she tried dating industry guys. Safari was an industry guy. Meek Mills was an industry guy. How did that turn out? Because at that particular time, Safari and Meek Mills feels like in this relationship, we're equal. I'm in the industry just like you're in the industry. And they didn't really respect or valued or appreciate what Nicki Minaj was bringing to the table. So instead of, taking the side and just saying, you know what, we're here because of you, I'm just going to sit in the background. Safari he has never had moments where he wants to sit in the background. He done that long enough when Nicki Minaj was trying to figure out her way in this music industry. He didn't had enough of that. Okay. Meek Mills has never in his life sat in the background. Well, you know what? I'm gonna let Nicki Minaj cook. I'm gonna let my girlfriend cook, and I'm just gonna sit in the background. Okay, these are industry guys, and Nicki Minaj has been there and done that with those type of guys, and she's been burnt by those type of guys. So she's saying, no, I don't want to date anybody in the industry. I want to date somebody that's not from this industry, and I think that's why that dynamic works for them. Now, all relationships can't, not all women or men that want to have a relationship can say, I'm going to take the Nicki Minaj approach. I'm just going to date someone that's outside this industry and it's going to work. All right. There's no rhyme or reason why relationships work. But I do feel like to have a healthy relationship, you have to be comfortable in your skin. Okay. And, it's okay if you have to take the side seat. It's okay if the alpha in the relationship is your hubby, or the alpha in the relationship is your wife. You have to be comfortable in your skin to be cool with that and accept that. It is what it is. If you look at Rihanna and A$AP Rocky, they have a similar type of relationship like that as well. They have a kid. But when they go to these red carpet events, A$AP Rocky has a name. You know, I'm pretty sure in some settings, as a mutual respect thing, they would, interview both of them. But there are a lot of events that were specifically for Rihanna. But A$AP Rocky knows that Rihanna is the bigger star than him. Now, publicly, yes, I do feel like Rihanna would say publicly, like we're equal with this. There's no bigger person, okay, and they're cool with that. All right, that they're equal, but privately, in a private setting, and in certain situations, you can tell who is the alpha in the relationship, and clearly it's Rihanna. And A$AP Rocky is cool with it. He's cool. It's okay. It's okay to be the side fiddle. He's comfortable in his skin, and that's why that dynamic works. Okay. Now, Keke Palmer, boyfriend, however, and they are in a they're in a boyfriend girlfriend type of relationship. And I'm pretty sure they was trying to elevate it to an actual marriage. But if you look at Keke Palmer, and if you look at her perspective and you look at his perspective, well, they have two different viewpoints as far as how fast this relationship is going to elevate into marriage. Keke Palmer still looks good. Many men would love to nail Keke Palmer. Many men would love to be married to Keke Palmer. Keke Palmer has status out here. So Keke Palmer is really, if you look at what I said earlier in a relationship, Keke Palmer is elevated in all of those categories. She has status. She has a name. She has a career. She makes her own money. She does what she wants to do. She gets jobs. She's loved and adored. She's, every man when she walks out of her home, every man is looking at her and she knows it. Every man wants to be wrapped around her. She knows it. She's the it. She's it. She is literally the it. And she's the it girl, excuse me. Every guy wants to be around her, associate her, be associated with her, married her, work with her, all that stuff. So she's really not in no huge rush to get married. I'm pretty sure she's thinking about getting married, but it's pretty much at the bottom of the list of her accomplishments. If you look at this gentleman, and I'm so sorry if you're listening to this live stream. I'm pretty sure you're not listening to this live stream, but if there are any fans of his, apologize for me. I had your name in my head. I can't think of your name right now. But when you look at him and you look at all of the categories, he's not numero uno in none of those categories. So marriage to him is a high priority on his list. It's not so much for Keke Palmer. And I believe that was okay with him. And I'm pretty sure he was thinking, strategy wise, yeah, it's not high on her priority list as far as getting married. But we got a kid. She likes me. I like her. She loves me. I love her. And we still have a healthy relationship. I can just build on these building blocks. Maybe not now, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not a week from now, maybe not a month from now, maybe not a year from now, but eventually she will want to slow down and get into the married phase. Again, I feel like these two talk, but they don't necessarily talk. And we're gonna peel back what I mean by that. So this incident, and a lot of people come with their opinions, their thoughts and their opinions, and a lot of people saying that he got lit up on social media. He got lit up on social media. Hold on one second. I thought I turned that off. All right. Okay. We got that. We took care of that. All right. I thought I turned that off. I thought I turned that on. It's on now. Okay. Do not disturb mode. I do not want to be disturbed. Okay. So back to what I was talking about. A lot of people were talking about this, and he got cooked on social media. Because he pretty much didn't like the outfit that she was wearing, which I thought was weird. Like, if y'all are in a relationship, and when people are in a relationship, that means that they're together, right? So if your significant other was getting ready to go to an event that you're not going to, you would think that you would be the first one to see what type of outfit that they were wearing. Now, I could be 100% wrong. She probably wore something, left home, and then went someplace else and changed. That that's a possibility. All right. Um, but I thought as since y'all are in a relationship, you would know what she's wearing. But like I said, who knows? She probably wore something at home and she went someplace else or went someplace else and wore this outfit and you didn't know about it. And that's cool. And secondly, her going to the event. She's going to see Usher with her girls. Now, I'm pretty sure, and here's where Lovely T and all the females out there, when they say, well, it's her body, she can do whatever she wants to. She could, if she wants to go to an event by herself, she can go to an event by herself. It's her money. She's the breadwinner and this, that, and the third. All I want to know is to all the women out there that have this belief, if we're going to proceed, and if this is the belief, and this is how, things work for you guys, it should transfer to a man. So if a man's a breadwinner, so what you're telling me is if a man's a breadwinner, he can go wherever he wants to go without you. He can go to wherever event without you. And he can and he can hug up on whatever female that is performing. A lot of you women, including Lovely T, you guys are setting yourself up in a failed situation for yourself. So what you're saying is what's good for the goose is not necessarily good for the gander. What you're saying is if a man was doing this, then we'll be male bashing him. Oh, that's not fair. Just because you're the breadwinner, you have a wife at home. Think about your wife. Think about her needs. Think about her value, respect her. Why would you go to an event that's performed by a female, and this could be a strip club or this could be a concert, whatever? Why would you be hugging on that girl, knowing that you got a full, whole wife at home with kids? Okay, you're not a bachelor no more. You're dating a woman who blessed you with a child. Okay, you keep hearing women constantly say this. How many times in entertainment where a male actor or a male athlete get caught up and they're in the same situation Keke Palmer found herself in, and how many times women will come forward and say, well, that's just disrespectful and he degrading her, and they go on and they get on their soapboxes and talk about she's the mother of his kids and she's at home taking care of the kids. Meanwhile, just because you're the breadwinner, just because your status is much higher, and just because your celebrity is much higher, still you have to respect and appreciate the value of a woman who who birthed your child. Excuse me. You can't be out there hanging out. You can't be out there in them streets acting like you're a bachelor. Okay. You got other things to think about. Okay. The onslaught of what women have said through the years. So all of that stuff is thrown out the window because Keke Palmer was caught in the same situation like any other man in that type of situation in the past. any other CEO, any other president, any other vice president, any other politician, any other athlete, any other actor has been caught in these type of situations, and how women throughout time and time and time again would be on this thought process of, you're not, you're not a bachelor no more. You are in a relationship with a woman. Y'all not married, but you're in a relationship with a woman who blessed you with a child. You got other responsibilities and obligations to think about. You don't have time to go to the strip club. You don't have time to go to a show and some female singers draping all over you and singing to you and this, that, that. You don't have time for that. You have other responsibilities and obligations. Grow up. Grow up. That's what women would be saying. But when the shoe is on the other foot, it's completely opposite. So let me get this straight now. Which road are we going down, Lovely T? Which road are we going to travel now? If you're saying what Keke Palmer did, there was nothing wrong with what Keke Palmer did, then this is the road we're going to travel for both of them. Correct? Is that what we're saying? Are we coming to this conclusion that, okay, maybe we shouldn't have been bashing those men that that went out to the nightclubs and was hugging up on these strippers or hugging up on these female singers and this, that, and the third, just because they're the breadwinner, just because they're more popular than their significant other, just because they're more successful than their significant other. So what you're saying is decades and decades and decades of women bashing men with this type of behavior. Now all of a sudden this behavior is acceptable because it's Keke Palmer. So I just want to know which side, I mean, how we're going to proceed. If you guys are saying that Keke Palmer did nothing wrong, then this is the way we're going to go for everybody, for every female, for every male. We're not going to be judgmental. This is how we're going to be moving for now on. So I just want to get an understanding here. This is what we're going to be doing for now on. Now, I will say this. And I'm coming from the perspective of not someone being married, but I'm coming from the perspective of, okay, you're trying to cultivate a relationship with your significant other. I do feel like there should be boundaries. There should be a mutual respect for one another. Everyone were talking about a couple of weeks ago how Dwayne Wade and his wife, Gabrielle Union, they split things 50-50, and everyone thought that was weird. But when you really think about it, it goes back to what I said in the beginning. Relationships should be founded on a percentage. If I feel like the male and the female, or the female and the female, or the male or the male, or whoever you prefer dating wise, I feel like y'all should come. I feel like everything should be beneficial for both parties to have a healthy relationship. But we all know that all healthy relationships are not built and created the same. We just talked about the different examples of females, the Nicki Minaj and the Keke Palmers, and Nicki Minaj, Keke Palmer. I said someone else. I can't even think of their name right now, but that's neither here nor there. Oh, Rihanna. How if you the male in the relationship, you're not going to you're not going to be considered the alpha of the relationship. Nicki Minaj is married to Kenneth Perry. I think ASAP Rocky and Rihanna are married, but I think they're more in a relationship. I feel like, look here, when you date someone, I mean, if you're in a relationship with someone and y'all not married and it's been 5 or 6 years, y'all been, in the same mode, you're married. Okay. You may not have a certificate that you're married, but you're married. All right. You're married to, I mean, after 6 years, you're still dating the same person and y'all didn't go downtown to fill out a marriage license. Technically, you're married. Okay. Legally, you're married. Okay. In some states, they would consider you two guys married. Okay. That's neither here nor there. All right. But I feel like, back to what I was saying, relationships are a percentage. And I feel like the healthy ones, the ones that last the longest, the male or the female, or the female or the female, or the male or the male, I don't know who your dating preference is. They're contributing, they should contribute equally in the relationship. Because I feel like that's truly where you guys respect one another. Okay, there would be no misconceptions or no but there are levels to a relationship, and we just mentioned some of those examples. Just like I can mention a lot of examples where Denzel Washington, he's married to his wife. His wife is not an industry. She's not in this industry, in the film industry. Denzel Washington is an iconic character. I mean, an actor. Excuse me. Has won several awards. All right. And a lot of women, if Denzel Washington goes on the market right now, young, old, whatever, will be lining up to date Denzel Washington. Denzel Washington was 60. I think he's 60. But there'll be women lining up to the door to date Denzel, to get the opportunity to date Denzel Washington. And his wife knows that. But she's comfortable in her skin. She knows when they go to these red carpet events that the press and the powers that be, they want to talk to Denzel Washington. Now they'll out of respect factor, I think they'll take several pictures of him and his wife together. But then they will but the boatload of those pictures are going to be for Denzel Washington. So like when they get the opportunity to interview Denzel Washington, they may say one or two things respectfully to his wife, but the majority of the interview is going to be about Denzel Washington. And there's going to be certain situations where Denzel Washington there's going to be certain situations where they would want Denzel Washington more so than his wife. And she understands that. But you have to be comfortable in your skin. And I just don't think this guy was very comfortable in his skin. And then he took to social media and said, it's just a dress, dog. I mean, let's just face it. You're a mom. Okay. He's talking about principles and morals and things of that nature. And to me, it caught Keke Palmer off totally surprised because she's going like, whoa, wait a minute. We never had no talks about morals and principles and morals, and I should go out here acting like being a mom. I should have the mentality of being a mom and motherhood and stuff. Guys, just like men try to fight off fatherhood and the reason why men fight off, now I'm not saying that let me rewind this. Let me unpackage this very carefully because this is where a lot of people would get it twisted what I'm saying. A good man is not going to run away from his responsibilities and his obligations. But even a good man runs away from being labeled a father. Fatherhood. Because to a good man's eyes and a good man's logic, he perceives fatherhood as, okay, uh, you're no longer a bachelor. You're no longer running these streets. You're no longer single. You're into this next phase in your life where fatherhood, and that's when all of it goes downhill. Your coolness, you're no longer cool no more. You're no longer concerned about dressing in the best clothes. You're no longer concerned about going to the best nightclubs or the best restaurants. You no longer have the obligation or the time to socialize with your friends, your college friends. You know, everything's going downhill. Dad bod is the next juncture. It's just the fatherhood mode. A lot of guys hate going down this road. But you know who else hates going down a road? Women. Women do not want to go down motherhood because everything that's cool to being a woman, a single woman, is gone by the wayside when you go down motherhood, because now things that you were concerned about when you were single and when you're young and you're single and you're free, you no longer have those concerns. You evolve into another set of concerns like daycare and what type of baby formula to get for your child, and all this stuff that comes down the road isn't necessarily considered cool, too cool for school for you. And it's not like, and I know a lot of people are going to look at this and they're going to go, okay, so what you're trying to say is, people would rather be bachelors and I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is I feel like a lot of people like the lure of still being single and free, and but they're not going to run away from their responsibilities and their obligations. I feel like Keke Palmer, when she's dressing a little too revealing, she's doing twerk videos, booty pops, and she's being she's having her hot girl summer moment. Okay. I think that's her way of saying I'm still young. I still should have the same mentality and the same thought process that I had when I was in my early 20s. I think Keke Palmer's like what, 29? She probably thinking that well, I know for a fact she's thinking that, I still should have that mentality and that go girl type of attitude like I had in my early 20s. I should carry that on into my 29. Just because I got pregnant, just because I birthed a kid, that doesn't mean I should stop having that type of mentality. And I think that's why you see Keke Palmer on social media, uh, you know, you know, showing this side of her, the twerking and all that, being more sexy, and like I said earlier, when you have a kid, you start developing things on your body that you never had when you didn't have a kid. Your breasts become more fuller, your thighs become your ass just becomes a little bit bigger, has form and shape to it, your thighs, everything. Your and particularly when you go to the gym and you work off that baby fat. When you work off that baby fat, oh man, you're fit. Okay. And she's feeling herself, and she should feel herself. All right. I'm not saying that she shouldn't feel herself, but when but I felt like I said earlier in this presentation, I think Keke Palmer and her boyfriend should have had these discussions earlier before later. I think now they're having these conversations later. These same conversations, and now I think they unfollowed one another. But I felt like in the beginning, in the courtship of them, they should have been having these conversations like, yo, like Keke or him, like, this is what I feel a woman should be to me. And for Keke, well, this is how I feel a man should be to her. And then they both either respect each other's decisions and work on it, or just modify each other's decisions. And I felt like they didn't have these conversations. Therein lies the struggle between the two. I mean, this guy has been, I mean, Keke Palmer has not once, now, I haven't seen it recently, but she hasn't, told social media to lay off her boyfriend. We're just going through some stuff, you know, and we're working on each other. Okay. Ever since then, the man deactivated his Twitter. I'm just saying, like, look, if you're going to go on Twitter to make your case, then you should stay on Twitter when people make their cases. All right. And I feel like the bashing, I mean, even though he was sort of shaming her publicly, now, a lot of guys and a lot of females, I've heard a lot of people say this. Well, wait a minute. Hold up, Chris. I mean, she shamed him by going to the Usher concert, wearing that dress, like a snuggle bear to Usher, letting Usher, um, wrap his whole arm around her. And isn't this the same Usher that was allegedly having having sexual diseases? Allegedly, let's use the word allegedly, okay? But that's neither here nor there, all right? And you see that, and then you're going like, he's shaming her because of that. Lovely T pointed out, as well as other people have pointed out, I think the real reason why he had issues with that is because he was a little jealous because another man is wrapping his arms around his girl. Okay. And that is fine. But once again, like I said earlier in this live stream, I feel like those moments right there, y'all should have been discussing those moments in the courtship of each other before y'all had the child, before she got pregnant. Y'all should lay some stuff down like, hey, this is my ideal of a woman. This is what's out of bounds. This is what's in bounds with me when I consider a woman to be mine, and vice versa for Keke Palmer. Well, okay, this is how I feel. This is what my idealism of a man, what's out of bounds, what's in bounds with me. And I think they should have talked a little bit more. And I think they were really feeling each other in the beginning, and then they were, on social media and all that stuff. And they was doing, they were dating, and, they were feeling one another, but they really didn't put any stock in knowing one another. There is a difference between feeling one another and actually knowing one another, because you know what's out of bounds and what's in bounds with your significant other. So I wish the best for these two. I don't think these two should break up. I think these two need to hash certain things out, and I think these two need to tell the truth about what's acceptable and what's not acceptable, and then they need to make a decision. Are they going to stay together, or are they just going to be co-parenting? But see, but once again, these are situations a lot of men and a lot of women find themselves after they bring a child into the world. No, you should know these things before you bring a child into the world. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say about Keke Palmer. And I'm going to move on to Adam22 is facing some severe backlash on Lena. Is it Lena the Plug or Later the Plug? I get the two confused. All right. If you don't know who Lena the Plug is, allow your boy to explain roughly in less than 20 seconds. Lena the Plug is an adult content actress that's in the corn community. She has an OnlyFans. She's fluent on social media like Instagram and Twitter and things of that nature. She does have a podcast called Plug Talk that also featured Adam22, and then they would interview female adult actresses from the porn industry as well as Pornhub. And after the end of the interview, Adam gets to boom bop 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 boom bop about bam boom with them, and they would have sex with one another. And that type of content will be on her OnlyFans. All right. And I talked about this last week. And I don't know if you guys follow Plug Talk. Now, I don't follow Plug Talk heavily, but I have on and off watched Plug Talk. And I say Plug Talk has really changed since the beginning of Plug Talk, because what made Plug Talk popular back in the day is not necessarily what making Plug Talk relevant now. Okay. Um, Plug Talk back in the day, like I said, Adam22 and Lena the Plug, they would do like a 30-minute, an hour-long interview with whatever female from the corn industry or from OnlyFans or from Fanly or whatever. And they talk about their trials and tribulations and things of that nature. And then there's a second part of the show, the after show, which is only featured on Lena the Plug's OnlyFans, where Adam gets to bang these females. All right. And that was pretty much the nick and cranny of it. And that was pretty much the concept of Plug Talk. And Plug Talk got hugely popular. Okay. Now, on the height of Plug Talk's popularity, you started seeing some changes. All right. You started seeing Lena the Plug doing it by herself, interviewing other female actresses in the corn industry and and OnlyFans or whatever, but you don't get to see the part. They don't advertise the part of Adam banging the guest. Okay, they still do it every now and again, but they don't do it constantly. And then you start seeing Lena the Plug trying to make Plug Talk conservative, making Plug Talk power for the woman, the woman's movement, and all that stuff. And I feel like Plug Talk has fallen off, because Lena Plug needs to understand that the majority of the audience that was listening and watching Plug Talk were men. Now, everything that those guys liked about Plug Talk, you're slowly but surely peeling it away. And now Plug Talk ain't popular no more. It ain't popping no more. Now, she does rarely do Plug Talk, but it's not consistently. Okay. But she's really, trying to make a huge lane in adult content. And you've seen her make several videos on OnlyFans, and that's cool and all, but you're slowly seeing her no longer contribute to her YouTube channel. It's pretty much non-existent. When she does the audio version of Plug Talk, it's pretty much non-existent. But she's heavily falling back into doing adult content. That's what got her popular. That's what made a name for herself. Okay. She's sticking to what she does well. Well, Adam22 with No Jumper, No Jumper was a heavy contributor of Plug Talk. And ever since No Jumper has been taking a nosedive in the views and in the ratings and things of that nature, Plug Talk has suffered from that too. And then you see Adam22 trying to revamp and rechange No Jumper. He had these different type of conservative left-wing thinkers like Destiny, I forgot his name. And you see him, evolving and changing, and he's no longer really interviewing rappers or gangsters and pimps and things of that nature. He tried in a bad attempt to change No Jumper, and nobody wasn't feeling that flavor. So now he's trying to go back to what worked for No Jumper. But by then, the damage has been done. Most of the people that contribute to No Jumper, like AD and the other people, they left No Jumper and they're doing their own things. Sharp is still there. The Sharp report that's still popular. So he's got things in No Jumper that's popping, but overall, No Jumper as a network has been falling to the wayside. All right. Lena the Plug would be featured on No Jumper. Plug Talk would have episodes premiering on No Jumper, as well as Lena the Plug's YouTube channel. But like I said, Lena the Plug is playing to her strengths and not necessarily to her weaknesses. I don't think Lena the Plug is a good interviewer. I think Lena the Plug is great with Adam22 with the old format. And you had your moments and things of that nature, but it seemed like Adam22 had spread himself too far out. Now he's trying to snap himself back in, and by doing that, he doesn't do Plug Talk consistently. I think Lena the Plug does it the most, and she's a bad host. Let's just go and call a spade a spade. Lena the Plug really doesn't ask real hardball questions. Hold on one second. She don't necessarily ask real hardball questions or questions that fans want to know about. It's always slow pitch, slow ball questions. And it's, but she's always promoting this power for the women empowerment, and wearing dresses and wearing tea dresses and things of that nature. And she doesn't realize the majority of the majority of her audience were males, and everything that they liked about Plug Talk, you're no longer promoting that no more. So they don't went away, and so has the views. Okay. But never again. Everyone wants to be woke until you're broke. All right. Go ask everyone that lost their job at ESPN. We talked about that last week, so I'm not even going to begin talking about it today. All right. So moving on. So Lena the Plug has heavily pushed her adult content. All right. She's been more active on that. And like I said, you have to, sometimes in life you have to play to your strengths and not necessarily your weaknesses. Like I said, she's a bad interviewer, she's a bad host, but when it comes to that particular type of content, she thrives and she's very successful doing it. All right. So Adam22 and Lena the Plug made it official. They got married. Okay. I think they got 2 kids as boyfriend, girlfriend, and they want to make it official by tying the knot. I think, excuse me, I think they got married in Paris and they made it official. They tied the knot. It was, it looked nice. It looked peaceful. It looked so clean. And on the heels of that, she announced to the world on social media that she's going to finally do an adult scene with someone that is not Adam22. And I think his name is Jasmine Love. I don't know his name. I don't follow, I don't follow Korn that much. And when I do follow Korn, I follow the females than the males. But that's neither here nor there. All right. So she introduced him and she made a teaser about them actually doing a scene together without Adam22. And Adam22 last week, he was took to the cleaners. People were cooking him. All right. They air fried cooked Adam22 to the point of people calling him a cook, a cuck. And he talked about saying he's not a cuck, but to me, if it walks like a cuck, talks like a cuck, acts like a cuck, it ain't a damn mongoose. Adam22, either you a full blown cuck or you got cuck tendencies. Okay, which is it? All right, either or, it does not make you look good. All right, but anyway, he tried to explain himself, and he said he's more open with Lena doing stuff like this, and they always had conversations of Lena doing scenes without him, but it's just even though you can make peace with it in your mind, and she can make peace with it in her mind, but to everyone else, it's gonna be hard to. That's a hard pill to swallow. Pause. And nobody's not gonna make peace to it. All right, everybody's gonna be one-sided to where they're like, "Yo, I'm not going to have my girl get millie-whopped, her coochie getting curb stomped, all right, by another guy." And what made it even worse, Lena the Plug talked about how when they were done with the scene, she had to take 2 or 3 days off because of the scene itself, being in bed with Jasmine Love. Hold up. That was totally disrespectful. I know you're trying to sell content, but at what expense? You're selling this content and you're also dismantling Adam22's confidence. All right. So, because what you're saying that is this dude, this dude's slong, this dude's sausage was a lot bigger and was packing a lot of girth than Adam22. All right. So, but I think Adam22 and Lena the Plug and people that have this thought and this perspective, they look at it as, well, there's no such thing as good and bad press. It's just press. And as long as people got their names in your mouth, as long as people tweeting about you on social media or just talking about you on social media, um, you're successful. I'm pretty sure she's gonna make a lot of money with this video. I don't know how it's set up on her OnlyFans. I'm not subscribed to her on OnlyFans. I'm pretty sure this is one of those type of videos where you have to pay a significant amount of money to see the scene, as well as your monthly fee. I'm pretty sure she's smart enough to do that. I think it's on her website. Okay. And, I think, Lena the Plug has a website and you have to sign in, put your credit card information in, and it is not going to be cheap. All right. If you want to see Lena the Plug get donkey fucked, okay. Peel back like a banana. All right. Uh, Coochie getting curve stomped. All right. He putting the 8-town beat down on her coochie. All right. If you want to see all that, and if you cool with that, you want to see her coochie turn into clay, from clay to mud. All right. Then go to her website and put your credit card, debit card information in there, and you will be the select few of the few that see it. Okay, I'm pretty sure she's gonna make tons of money off of it. Okay, tons of money off of it. All right, and to me, I mean, I'm a man. I wouldn't want to, Okay, guys, I'm gonna do an experiment. All right, you can do it right now live, or when you watch this representation of Too Early for This podcast. But guys, just think about this the next time you're with your significant other. Okay, look at your girl. All right, look at your girl. Now think about your girl getting donkey bumped, getting donkey fucked by somebody. And look at your girl being not only donkey fucked by somebody, but enjoying it. And he's stretching them walls out. And he's got a better utensil than you. Okay. You're not going to be too pleased about that. All right. I mean, but once again, this is one of those scenarios that we talked about with Keke Palmer and her boyfriend. You have to be comfortable under your skin. And I think Adam22, even though I feel like he's a cook, or he's at least a cook with cook behaviors, all right, I think he's comfortable in his own skin, and I think he's cool with this, all right. And I'm pretty sure, and I told you guys they have an open relationship, and for her to trust him messing around with other females, he's going to have to trust her messing around with other guys. It's a two-way street. So that's pretty much how it works. I mean, she's an adult actress. She does corn. And when he married her and got kids by her, he knew what type of woman he was dealing with from the beginning. So if it's okay with him, it's okay with me. All right. Okay with him, okay with me, with his wife getting, getting the Drake, the Dr. Dre beats on that coochie, okay? Okay, but yeah. So that's what's going on with Adam22. We're going to move on into the next topic, all right? But before we move on to the next topic, I need you guys to do me a favor. I need you guys to do me a solid. Please subscribe to my podcast. I'm Chris Don One on YouTube. Subscribe and enjoy. I promise you, you will not be disappointed, not by a second, all right? And while you subscribe to me, hit the notification bell, share this content with your friends, family, as well as your followers. Also subscribe to the links at the bottom of the description page. I have 2 more YouTube channels. Just My Opinion podcast is on my I'm Chris Don One official channel. But you can watch I'm Chris Don One listen to I'm Chris Don One podcast on I'm Chris Don One TV. That premieres every week. I'm gonna try to make it official every Monday. We're going to upload an audio episode of I'm Chris Don One podcast. Which, by the way, if you want to follow I'm Chris Don One audio podcast, it's on Google Play, iTunes, and Spotify. I really do appreciate if you guys support the channel. I mean, support the I'm Chris Don One podcast on Spotify. Subscribe to Spotify, and then you can listen to it to whatever podcast service you want to listen to, or you can just come to I'm Chris Don One TV and you can listen to it every Monday. All right, Monday Fun Day. All right. And also Just My Opinion podcast. That's my sports channel. Got a lot of hot videos that went down last week. Go check them out. Subscribe and enjoy. You will not be disappointed. Like I said, all the links to all of my social media applications are in the description. But one one link you won't find down there is Threads. Okay, so let's push from Keke Palmer and her boyfriend and Adam22 backlash to Threads versus Twitter. All right, and this was trending on Twitter when you was able to download the app from Google Play or the iTunes store, and I think it was official Tuesday, and people downloaded the Threads app. Now, if you've been living under a rock, allow your boy to explain. Threads is pretty much like Twitter, all right, and Threads is from the creator. It's from the Meta universe. It's from Meta. Excuse me. It's Facebook. It's Instagram. It's Mark Zuckerberg. I always mispronounce his last name, but you guys know I butcher people's names on a constant, consistent basis. And they wanted an application that can compete with the likes of Twitter. Now, Twitter, during its course, ever since it launched many moons ago, there were always someone jumping out of a car, screaming that, we're the next app that's going to compete with Twitter, and it pretty much crashed and burned. Okay, you have other applications such as YouTube and Instagram, Facebook. They would have features in their application that mimic what Twitter does, but no one really necessarily uses those features on those applications. All right, so Threads was created and it premiered Tuesday. And this is a rough estimate of what I got from Thursday. But they got 30 million people subscribe to Threads. Now, to compare Threads to Twitter, I looked at how many users are on Twitter. And I looked at one, when I done the research, they said it's like 150 monthly active users on Twitter. Okay, you got 30 million accounts created for Threads, but Twitter has already have 150 million active Twitter accounts. That's big time. All right. So I think we should just pump the brakes on Threads being the Twitter killer, or it's going to have any type of competition to Twitter. Now, here's what I think about Threads. I got an account by Threads, and here's what I think about Threads. And I downloaded Threads. This is from Tuesday. This is my opinion from Tuesday when it premiered, Wednesday, and when I did research on it on Thursday. So for 3 solid days, this is the data I'm about to drop and unload on you guys. Okay. When I look up on social media different videos and articles about what other people thought about Threads, they say, it's pretty much the cloak and dagger type of response. Okay. Oh, it's just like Twitter. It looks like Twitter. You can retweet. You could tweet to your followers. And I'm going like, whoa, wait a minute. Therein lies the identity crisis with Threads. Because when people are talking and trying to big up Threads, they utilize language that's really meant for Twitter, like tweet. You tweet on Twitter. You send post on Threads. They call them threads. I mean, I'm just gonna call them posts. Okay, you post on Threads. You tweet on Twitter. Now, after using it, it's not as robust as Twitter. It looks like Twitter. Okay. The posts are in line like what tweets are on Twitter, but you don't really utilize hashtags on Threads. Now at this particular time, like I said, this is from 3 days. Now maybe it has changed dramatically, but if you put a hashtag on something, that doesn't mean it's going to really get out there for to the majority of the audience who are not subscribed to you on Threads. I think another problem Threads has going for itself is on Twitter, it's a bigger search engine. Even though Meta is part of the search engine for Threads, is not the same as Twitter, because the people that are the insiders and the companies and the corporation, the industry, music industry, gaming industry, the entertainment industry, the sports industry, all different fields of entertainment and all different fields of different industries and different communities primarily promote heavily on Twitter. They're not doing that right now on Threads. Therein lies the problem with Threads. I think there's an identity problem with Threads that they're going to have to overcome. And I think their search engine is going to have to get a little bit better. So people that are not subscribed to you, they can connect to you a lot. It feels like you're isolated on Threads. But on Twitter, you don't have that feeling of isolation on Twitter. Like if I wanted to tweet to IGN, or if I wanted to tweet to Walmart, or if I want to tweet to MGM Plus, okay, I can tweet to them without necessarily subscribing to them. With Threads, to me, on the outside looking in, and I could be totally wrong, y'all can comment in the comment section, it feels like there's a disconnect with people that are sending threads to individuals or corporations, and it feels like to me you're isolated from those people, unless those people are subscribed to you, unless there's like a big surplus of information going to that corporation. They're not going to, it feels like you're isolated from them. All right. It feels like there's walls built in front of the people that are trying to utilize threads. And thirdly, I haven't heard of no big industry, no big corporation, no big entity, athlete, actor, social media influencer that said on the record that they're going to use threads heavily. They're going to deactivate their Twitter account, or they're just going to exclusively do their content moving forward on threads. I haven't heard anyone say that. All right. And therein lies another problem with threads, because people that are subscribed to threads, they're not getting rid of their Twitter. They're not going to stop using their Twitter. Even people like Donald J. Trump, who before Elon Musk bought Twitter, Donald J. Trump wasn't a huge component of Twitter. You have a lot of people that don't like Twitter. How Twitter silenced a lot of people, freedom of speech, or what they feel and what they believe and things like that. It's to the point where Twitter is cutting their freedom of speech away. So you heard a lot of people talk about all that noise for the past couple of months. Oh, I hate Twitter because Twitter don't let me be who I want to be. They suspend me for this. They just do little nicks and they just do stuff like that. They took my verification. I worked so hard for my blue check mark. Now there's Twitter Blue, where any random Joe or Jane can get a blue check mark by just paying a subscription fee. I think that's horse. You know what? This is bull crap. I wish there was another application that's similar to Twitter that I can go to and well, you have it. You have Threads. Okay, be careful what you wish for. This is what everybody was wishing for the past 3 years. All right, and I haven't heard Kanye West endorse Threads, and Kanye West hates Twitter. I haven't heard Kyrie Irving talk about Threads, and Kyrie Irving has issues with Twitter. Donald J. Trump, you hear a lot of people talk bad about Twitter, but then they still use Twitter. Now, how hypocritical is that? You hate something so much that you still use it, okay? But now you have Threads. This is supposed to be the Twitter killer, and not a lot of people are using it. Now, I know on the outside looking in, people are going to say, well, hold up, Chris. Hold up. Wait a minute, pimpin'. They got 30 plus million subscribers. 30 million plus people signed up to Threads. Okay. I just mentioned to you guys that Twitter has 150 monthly active users. So the lifetime of Threads, which was only 3 days, you only managed a measly 30 million accounts. Okay, that's 9 million more than people that are signed up to Game Pass. And Game Pass has been in existence for 3 years. And a lot of people are talking about Game Pass is a huge flop. A lot of people are talking about Game Pass. Microsoft as a corporation are not looking at Game Pass as a successor. And now you hear through these court documents of Microsoft just getting rid of their gaming division. Okay. Threads only has 30 active members. Let me ask y'all something. Threads come from Facebook, right? Threads also come from Instagram, right? I need y'all to do a quick Google check of how many active users are on Instagram. Let's just say Instagram, because of the two, I feel like Instagram is more popular than Facebook. All right, let's just use Instagram for a second. How many how many accounts are on Instagram? I feel like there's 6 times more people that are on Instagram that are on Threads. And if you wanted to generate a Threads account, it's very easy. All you have to do is download the app. It'll have your Instagram handle already in there. You can just create it from your Instagram account, or you can use an email and just start from fresh and just create one, whatever. All right. All you have to do is just click your name and that's it. You just generated a Threads account that fast. Now you won't have your picture. You have to edit your bio and things of that nature. But in essence, that's all you have to do. Let's say hypothetically let's just say 200 million people that use Instagram. 200 million Instagram accounts. Let's just do rough math, okay? Of those 200 million people that are on Instagram, only 30 million of them are signed up to Threads, and people calling Threads a successor. Folks, if Threads do not get up to 100 million by next Tuesday, it's a total flop, okay? It's a total flop. I guarantee you. Because people on the outside looking in, you guys look at it and y'all go, well, hold up, Chris. It only came out Tuesday. And yes, it does have 30 million active users or 30 million accounts on Threads. So they do have something there. It may not be right now a Twitter killer, but let's just give it time. Okay, let's just let it breathe. All right. You have to understand, in social media, particularly on social media, if you don't have an imprint in the social media network, you're not going to exist here on social media, not much longer. Okay. People, we have seen applications come and go. We've seen services come and go. And if you don't get a huge following day one, then it's never going to happen. Therefore, it's you're going to have issues down the road. And I feel like Threads now, I do feel some good things about Threads. But let's talk about the bad. They don't even have Twitter Spaces. I feel like Twitter Spaces is what making Twitter popular in the first place. Everyone is creating a Twitter Space. Everyone is creating, and Twitter Space is like a town hall for social media. All right. So everybody's creating these Twitter Spaces. All right. I think Twitter's, despite what people say about Twitter, Twitter is generally you're free to post wherever you want on Twitter. A lot of corn stars and OnlyFans models and this, that, and the third, they post heavily on Twitter. I think Twitter has a huge imprint in news, entertainment, and in politics. Politicians are utilizing Twitter. Okay. Timothy Scott is using Twitter. Okay. So Twitter has a huge imprint and an impression to all of us, not only on social media, but just around the world. All right. And I feel like Threads can steal some of that thunder, but I don't think it's going to steal a lot of that thunder. There's a lot of missing features Twitter already has that Threads don't have. And I really think, and look, I'm about to say something, and it's going to contradict what I just got through saying, but I do think Threads need to have its own identity. I think Threads need to bring things to the forefront that you just can't necessarily get anywhere else. And I feel like Threads is good for you to be similar to Twitter, but I think at the same time you should be a lot different than Twitter. You're never going to see the day where people are going to delete their Twitter accounts and just go to Threads. Okay, it hasn't happened yet, and it won't happen. And Twitter has been getting bad press for the past couple of months, ever since Elon Musk purchased Twitter. It was at one point Elon Musk was trying to get out of purchasing Twitter. Then when he purchased Twitter, when he couldn't get out from under purchasing Twitter, he let go of 80% of the workforce. Elon Musk is saying, you don't really need a lot of people to monitor Twitter. Okay. So you got all that noise going on, and people are hating Twitter's rules and regulations and the blue check mark. Now anybody can get a blue check mark. You just put in your credit card and debit card information. People are talking about how bad Twitter has become, but I haven't seen anyone else. I haven't heard of anyone with a huge following that just deleted their Twitter and going exclusively to Threads. So, I wish Threads the best of luck, but I do think Threads social media is so big that you can have two applications doing the same thing. Okay. People act like, it can only be one, but I do feel like competition is good. It's good to have Twitter and Threads coexisting and competing with each other. I think at the end of the day, the residuals of them competing against each other, we benefit as the consumers. Okay. But nevertheless, I think you're never going to see a day where Threads is going to kill off Twitter. It's just not going to happen. Realistically, it's not going to happen. I mean, Threads don't even have enough people supporting it to be that popular. 30 million accounts, and people think that this is a game changer. Okay. 30 million is maybe a lot to you and I, but to social media and to applications, I mean, you're barely keeping the lights on. And only reason Threads is thriving and Threads hasn't been shut down is because the huge backing of Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook, Meta, and Instagram. And Mark Zuckerberg has it in for Elon Musk, and he would love to see the day Elon Musk folds and go away. I don't think it's ever going to happen, but he would love to have that day come for Elon Musk. All right. So my retrospect of Threads, I utilized it. I just think they need to bring things that's different that you can only get from Threads that you can't get from Twitter. But at the same time, they need to work. They need to work on Threads, the whole overhaul, the searches, and in due time, people are going to figure out how to really utilize Threads in an amazing way. But as of right now, no, it's just not it. Okay, just not it. And another thing is so vanilla about Threads. There's nothing colorful about Threads. There's nothing. I mean, it just looks so blah. Okay, they only visually they need to work on it. I don't think it's going to go away anytime soon, but I do feel like they got a lot of work before they even think they're in the same competition of Twitter. Okay, that's just me. Okay, y'all can take it for whatever y'all want to take it. All right. But yes, that's all the topics that right now that that I had on my screen. And now we're going to focus on some tidbits here and there, some stuff that I noticed on social media. So Master P is selling his music catalog, and that's got a lot of people talking about it, and Slim Thug talked about it. And I think this went down last Monday. Slim Thug took to social media talking about, no, it wasn't really Master P. It was an artist. It was a rap artist. I can't think of his name right now. I do apologize. All right. So Master P took to social media, and he talked about the concept of selling your masters. And Master P said, no, I'm sorry, Slim Thug took to social media and talked about selling his master, because the guy on this podcast saying that's good business, you should sell your masters. Slim Thug had a different perspective about it. He said, how you calling that good business when you're selling your masters? Your masters can do work for you. I mean, you can make money off of your masters. You can make some residuals off your masters, even when you've been out of the game 10 plus years, 20 plus years, 30 plus years. Your masters can generate income for you when you no longer can. Okay. Let's just face reality. A rapper's shelf life, an average rapper's shelf life, probably only got 2 albums, maybe a couple of concerts, and that's pretty much it. Okay. Now, I've seen average rappers go into other industries or other forms of entertainment and move on. I've seen the most popular ones like Snoop Dogg, Kanye West. They have took it to another level. P. Diddy, these guys have taken it to another level, and they're moguls. Okay. They came from the field of rapping, but they dominated that field. Even 50 Cent dominated that field. But then they go into other endeavors such as, musicals or movies or TV shows or an entrepreneur. Okay. So those rappers, we don't necessarily, we talk about those rappers, but let's just not get it twisted and confused. It's not like a large percentage of rappers get that lane, get that opportunity, and get that choice. Most of them, they're hot while they're hot, and then when they go away, they simply go away. Okay. And Slim Thug was talking about how you should save your masters, let your masters work for you, and you can make residuals off your masters. That's the best business plan. And he said that Slim Thug said when people say that's good business, they just don't know how. That's code saying that they have no idea how business works, and they rather just sell their masters to someone who knows how it works and how it goes, and let them take care of the upkeep and the maintenance of the masters. Because at the end of the day, you have to, in order to make money, you have to put money into it. Okay, that's how it works. Okay. And let me give y'all guys a quick example. Okay, so back in the day, Michael Jackson, when he was dominating the pop charts and the music scene and had all these albums and this, that, and the third, was making millions upon millions of dollars. When he was very successful at his apex, Michael Jackson bought the Beatles catalog. Okay, bought the Beatles masters from the families of who owned the masters. And people didn't realize that, they no longer could afford maintaining these masters, but Michael Jackson could. All right. So Michael Jackson gave them a huge check. He took over the Beatles masters, and then he sold those masters to Apple. and he made a profit off of it. Because there was a point in Michael Jackson's time where he could afford to take care of the maintenance and the upkeep of these masters. And there was a period of time when the trial and a lot of stuff, a lot of situations that was gravitating around Michael Jackson, and he didn't have he didn't have a fist in the music industry. Okay, he had to downsize, and one of those things he did downsizing was to sell his masters to the Beatles. He made a lot of money by doing it. Okay, but when Michael Jackson passed, the family sold Michael Jackson's catalog. I don't know if it was to Apple. They sold it to somebody, and the family got a big check for it because the family could not support the maintenance and the upkeep of these masters. People just think, oh, I own the masters, I own the catalog to this particular album, and then that's it. Okay, I'm just going to collect the check every month. Well, it's not that simple. Okay, to make money, you have to put money into something that you're making, and you got to have a mind for business into generating money for it. And I understand what Slim Thug is saying, but I think Slim Thug need to realize, and what he was saying was 100% factual. I'm not saying Slim Thug was lying to y'all or perpetrating to y'all or anything like that, but Slim Thug was coming from the perspective of what he would do, because he's got an eye and a mind for business. I would then tell Slim Thug, not everyone has that eye or mind for business. And I feel like there's a lot of people, particularly in the music, not only in the music industry, but in the restaurant industry, any type of industry. I think people's education as far as business goes, they know how to operate, but they don't know how to preserve. And those are two different types of IQs. I think people know how to create. I think people know how to operate, but I don't think there's a lot of people out there that know how to preserve a business. And that's why a lot of them sell their masters. I think that they got, they can create and they can operate it to the best of their ability, but there's going to come a part where they got to transition from operating to preserving. And I don't think people have the business mindset to do that. I don't think people have the checkbook to do that. And that's why a lot of people sell their catalogs. All right. And I'm not going to say to, Slim Thug, he made a statement like, anybody that sells their catalogs, they're dumb. All right. So is Justin Timberlake dumb? Because Justin Timberlake sold his catalog, sold his masters. Or is Justin Timberlake smart enough to know that I don't have the fortitude to preserve these masters, or the checkbook to keep writing, to keep the uptake and the maintenance of these masters? Maybe someone else can do this. All right. Let me collect this big check now and let this headache be somebody else's problem down the road. Just kick the can down the road type of slogan. And when you look at Justin Timberlake is a mogul. He's not in the studio trying to create music anymore. Justin Timberlake wants to wants to be in featured movies and things of that nature. And he's cool. He's cool with his surroundings. He's comfortable in his own skin. I mean, he's a very successful guy. He still got, NSYNC. But, do you see Justin Timberlake talk about NSYNC? No. Do you see Justin Timberlake talk about music a lot? No. I just think Justin Timberlake has moved on. That was a phase in his life, and he wants to totally move away from that, step aside from that. Okay? So I understand what Slim Thug is saying, But I do feel like Slim Thug was a little too harsh on other people's reality. Just because Slim Thug can create, operate, and preserve doesn't necessarily mean everyone else has that same fortitude. So I understand what he's saying, but also understand the output and the outlook of other people that say, you know what? I'd rather just sell my catalog, collect this big check, and I'm good. All right. But I understand what Slim Thug's saying, like, yo, don't sell your masters, don't sell your catalog. Let your catalog, let your masters work for you. I understand that lane too. So yeah, that's all I got for that particular topic. There was one more topic I wanted to talk about, other than the Slim Thug thing, and really has to do. A Young Buck. Yeah, y'all guys know. Okay, I'm from Cashville, Tennessee. All right. Any artist, actor, actress, athlete that make it into the entertainment scene, I'm going to promote heavily. Okay. Back in the day, Young Buck was the ish in Cashville, Tennessee. All right. Not so much now, but back in the day. Okay. I think him, 3-6 Mafia, they really brought, Hollywood and the East Coast, the West Coast, the music industry to a knowledge that Cashville, Tennessee, we got some guys here that can create some bangers, okay, and particularly in the music industry, okay. But young Buck, first of all, we should change name to Young Buck to Old Buck, all right. Young Buck hasn't been Young Buck in many moons. So we need to transition Young Buck to Old Buck. All right. I done told y'all my 3 stories about Young Buck, the time I met Young Buck. And I'll probably mention them later on in this presentation so y'all can get a full understanding on why I'm still a huge supporter for Young Buck. Even though he has said and done some things in the past, I'm not turning my back on Young Buck. All right. So here we go. So during a recent concert, Afro Man was in Nashville, Tennessee. And if y'all don't know who Afro Man is, that was the guy who had the one and only hit song in his life. That, by the way, that hit song has made him ultra successful and ultra popular. I want to get high. I want to get high. I want to get high. That was the anthem. That was the anthem of the weed addictive people. Okay. I don't have nothing against weed. I think, out of all the illegal drugs, I'm not saying I recommend it, but I understand you smoke a little herb. Okay. I get it. All right. Okay. So, Young Buck was at this concert with his girlfriend. God bless her, because she's been through it with Young Buck, through the good and the bad. Now Young Buck's wife, she's not a saint in this either. Okay, but at least they've been through it, through the good and the bad. And during this concert, Young Buck was sloppy drunk as usual. I wouldn't expect anything less from Old Buck. Old Buck always was a sloppy drinker. All right. And okay. So, and got into an incident with Afro Man security, or Afro Man's homeboys. One thing led to another, and they beat the black off Young Buck. Okay. They beat Young Buck into Old Buck, and now Old Buck is applying for his AARP card. Okay. They beat the brakes off of Young Buck. They beat the beats off of Young Buck. Okay. They curve stomp Young Buck. Okay. They were dancing in the circle. Throw it in the circle right here. Throw it in the circle right here. Young Buck got beat. All right. Now, I don't think it was a fair one, because Young Buck was a little intoxicated. It was, the math didn't play right for Young Buck. It was not in Young Buck's favor. All right. But Young Buck did get beat down, and everyone's a making a mockery of him, making laugh and joking and stuff like that, and saying that he's the shit stain for Cashville, Tennessee. I'm still going to support Young Buck. I like Young Buck. I gave you guys my 3 Young Buck stories. I made a video about it. I talked about it on a recent live stream. I don't think I should talk about it in this particular live stream, but the times I had met Young Buck was very cordial, very friendly. Young Buck would take the shirt off his back to help you. I think a lot of people, when they mention Young Buck, the only thing they talk about is, they don't talk about the accomplishments of Young Buck, but they always talk about those incidents like Young Buck, being what they call that, Young Buck messing with a she. Now Young Buck says that he was tricked, he was bamboozled. All right. The phone call that was recorded by 50 Cent, and that was on social media. Everyone laughs about that. Bosco laughing about Young Buck, and Young Buck, and the feud between 50 Cent and Young Buck. Okay. But no one talks about the accomplishments of Young Buck. I think Young Buck had a huge impact in G Unit. People don't want to give him his shine. People don't want to give him his acknowledgments. People don't want to give him his credit. That's solely up to you. I think Young Buck's imprint in the music industry, he as well as other artists revolutionized Southern music, the Southern music connection, like the Dungeon family. Now you having arguments who was the best crew, Wu-Tang Clan or the Dungeon family. Now you have those arguments. Who was the better rapper, Jay-Z or T.I.? You have those you have those type of conversations. All right. Young Buck being part of, in my humble opinion, one of the most important rap groups in hip hop culture. Personally, if they didn't have their internal squabbles, and if everything was playing like it was playing, if the gang still stayed with G Unit and Young Buck was still with G Unit and 50 Cent and Tony Yayo and I forgot the other guy's name. I don't know why I want to call him Looms. Lloyd Banks. If all of those guys stayed, that would have been a centerpiece for other newer artists to hold the G Unit umbrella. I mean, there have been other artists that were featured in other projects of G Unit, but I think G Unit, it just hits a little different. So Young Buck is never going to get that type of appreciation, and it's all good in the hood if everyone, everyone has their opinions about Young Buck. But one thing I say is you can't take away what Young Buck brought to hip hop. I think you're a fool if you sit up there and say Young Buck was not important to hip hop. So yeah, we can all sit up here and laugh about Young Buck and this, that, and the third, but particularly with this incident, and Young Buck is outside his prime, and like I said, people are going to talk about the situations around Young Buck instead of the accomplishments Young Buck brought to hip hop. Now I know a lot of people when they get through listening to this, they're gonna say, "What type of accomplishments?" Okay, let's shoot Young Buck a fair one. Okay, let's not be a troll. Let's not, just not come into a discussion and just disrespect somebody. It just is what it is. So okay. So with that, that's all the topics. Real fast, real quick. The Victor Yamada. I think a lot of people are gonna butcher this guy's name. He's the number one pick for the San Antonio Spurs. He was in an incident with Britney Spears. You heard two different sides of the story. So basically, let me tell you guys a story. So Victor was in Las Vegas and with his entourage, with the San Antonio Spurs security team, and they were walking from the restaurant to someplace else. I don't know. And Britney Spears recognized them. And then Britney Spears immediately ran up and wanted to say hi to Victor, said his name a couple of times. And one of the security team allegedly backhand the pimp hand to Britney Spears. That was told to all of us. After a witness saying that, after a witness and an actual video, a witness acknowledged that, let's talk about the San Antonio security team. They said, they told Victor to keep moving because if he stops, he's going to incite a crowd and then they won't be able to go where they're supposed to go. So, they quickly wanted to push him through from one place to another place. I understand that point. I'm with you on that. The guy did say that as they were walking, they heard a female in the background and he stuck his hand out. And Britney Spears hit his hand, or his hand hit Britney Spears. He later on came back to Britney Spears' table, apologized, said no harm was done. He apologized and it seemed like everything was straight. And then Britney Spears, after her dinner date, went to the police and filed a report, and there you have it. Now, from what the witness saw, they said Britney Spears saw Victor Wembanyama, and they were walking fast, like everyone was saying. Britney Spears got up, but here's where it got kind of puzzled and confused by me. They said that Britney was using a British voice. She never acknowledged herself. And but they did say the guard put his hand out, and I think the witness said that he backhanded her. All right, but when you look at the video, even though it's choppy and grainy, it does look like he threw out that backhand. All right, like he was playing tennis and he was Roger Federer. And he just backhand. I mean, it looked like it was a backhand, but it was a half-hearted backhand. But it can also be perceived as he's sticking his hand out so she won't touch him, Victor Wembanyama. All right. So you're going, I know this is going to go to court. And at the end of the day, this has nothing to do with Victor Wembanyama. He didn't backhand Britney Spears or allegedly backhand Britney Spears or put his hand out and his hand had contact with Britney Spears' forehead region. This is between the San Antonio Spurs security team and Britney Spears. I'm pretty sure Britney Spears is going to have a settlement. They're going to have to throw some money out to Britney Spears, or they can negotiate where Britney Spears get to go to a game, a San Antonio Spurs game, and then she finally get to meet Victor Wembanyama and have pictures and videos, do a TikTok video, and all is forgiven. I think this has I think this is nothing that had a little or something in it, and it's not what when we didn't have the video, they make it sound like this man just turned around and just backhand, okay? But upon further review, it didn't look like the way how it was advertised. His hand was out, but I didn't see his hand go forward. I did see him extended his hand, so she wouldn't be able to touch him. I do see that, and I'm not, I don't do law, I don't practice law, any of that stuff. I'm not an expert on anything, but to me, I do see him extend his hand, and one could perceive that he was trying to backhand him, but another person can perceive that maybe he was extending his hand to make sure she didn't touch him or hit him, or because at that moment in time, no one knew she was Britney Spears, and no one knew that this was an innocent moment. This could like, what if she wasn't Britney Spears? What if this was somebody that was trying to do harm to Victor Wembanyama? Okay, you just can't just wait for it to happen and then say, "Oh man, yeah, we had to do this," but in the process, he could get injured or whatever. Victor could get injured. I think this is nothing that had a little something into it. But at the end of the day, cooler heads are going to prevail. Y'all guys know how this plays out. They're going to, either cut a check, or they're going to allow this heifer to, just, hang out with him, and all is forgiven. And she's going to get ultra popular for it. But hey, it is what it is. Okay. So yeah, that's all I got for today, guys. That's all I got for today. Really do appreciate everyone coming in and out. Hope everyone hit the like button on their way when it was coming in and out. I told you guys last week, there was a lot of people that I constantly give big ups and shout outs for particularly people that you guys should subscribe to. I wish them the best of luck, but I feel like moving on to shoot a fair one. None of these individuals don't promote me, and I'm not saying I'm not saying I'm no longer promoting them, but I feel like as content creators, okay, particularly smaller channels, we should respect and support one another. But there's always time limits to that. I don't think you should continue supporting someone if they're not supporting you that much. And I think it's okay. I think there's an etiquette in it. I feel like a good couple of months is good to support to acknowledge or support another content creator. And then that's it. Now, I have been more than fair with these three individuals, and they have been more than fair with me, and they have been promoting me. I really do appreciate it. But we're going to start off a clean slate. And if anybody has a channel out there, if you guys want me to list to look at the channel, see if I dig it, maybe I'll subscribe to it, watch some videos here and there, or your live stream, or however it works, I will do that. Just put the links down below to your channel, and I will go to them and check them out, see if I dig them or not. If I dig them, I'll promote them in next week's podcast. All right. But I really do appreciate everyone that have been supporting the channel. supporting the growth and development of this channel. A lot of you guys have been down with me from day one, have subscribed, hit the like button, share it with your friends, family, and followers. I really do appreciate that. I really do appreciate everyone who has donated to the channel. I have a lot of people donating to this channel. I really do appreciate it. I really do appreciate people who comment in the comment section to the videos or the live streams. I really do appreciate that as well. I really do appreciate anyone that does something positively for this channel. So for the people out there that I haven't mentioned, this is me saying thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I bless you guys because you guys bless me. I will see you guys next Saturday for another rendition of Ready for This podcast. Episode 48 is in the books. All right. We did surpass 2 hours. We had a lot of material. Hell, the Keke Palmer thing almost lasted an hour. But nevertheless, I'm the best. I'm the host with the most. I do not bring a boast. And I'm coming to you guys live from coast to coast. We'll have some more episodes. I will have some videos uploaded next week. So be on the lookout for that. And also be on the lookout for the next episode of Too Early for This podcast. So I'm up out of here. I will see you guys when I see you. Peace in hair grease. Peace in the Middle East. Peace in I'm about to say Kuwait. Peace in Russia. Peace in I forgot that country's name. I do apologize. They're fighting with the artist formerly known as Russia. Ukraine. So peace in Ukraine. Stop the violence. Everyone respect one another. So no more shootings. I want to Monday morning, I want to wake up and read that no one got shot over the weekend. And I want to wake up, if God willing, I want to wake up by next Friday and say that there's no school shooting. There were no school shooting during that week. Nobody doing rampant public shootings and things of that nature. I want to see a day where we love one another instead of destroying one another. Okay. I know that sounds cliche, but that's what I feel. All right. Damn it. That's how I feel. So guys, I'm up out of here. Deuces. I'm out.